Hi everyone, welcome to last session of this mini revision series of ancient history. So as I have promised to you in the previous class, I will be discussing about the architecture of the ancient Indian history. So when it comes to architecture, uh, the only thing that comes to our mind is temple architecture. However, it's not true. There are different kinds of architectural forms that are pillar and rock edicts, stupas, caves, temples and forts. These are the different types of architectural forms that we can find in our ancient Indian history. I have seen many educators and content providers on the YouTube are not giving you insight about all these types of architectural forms. However, they are just focusing on temples. I thought of giving you an insight and a clear picture of all the architectural forms and which architectural forms were uh, prevalent in different types, in different periods, in different dynasties. So it's like this. Let's move into the main content of today's class. So we will be discussing the architectural forms of different periods, that is Mauryan periods, Cholas, Pallavas, Pandyas, Chalukyas, Guptas. And I will be giving you examples of the forts or temples or caves, stupas or pillar and rock edicts of that period. So let's get started with the first period, that is Mauryan architecture. Mauryan architecture has pillars and rock edicts and stupas as its major architectural forms. The examples for pillars and pillar edicts and rock edicts are Ashokan inscriptions. If you have studied our previous classes of this series, I have discussed in detail when I have discussed about Ashoka in the Mauryan period. All the rock edicts and pillar edicts with examples and tricks to remember are given in that series. If you did not listen, please go and go through that video. So the examples of pillar and rock edicts are Ashokan inscriptions, stupas. Stupas are a different kind of architectural forms. They are like tombs, and Sanjay Stupa, which is a famous Buddhist stupa, is the major example of stupas of Mauryan architecture. Then let's move on to Gupta's period. The Gupta's period has its architectural forms majorly as caves. Ajanta and Ellora caves are the major examples of Gupta's architecture. Then coming to South Indian architecture. In South India, we will be focusing more on pattern architecture rather than the history of dynasties and the kingdoms, as I have said you in previous class. So in Chola's architecture, there are temples. One important thing to remember about South Indian architecture is the major part of architecture of South India is constrained to temples itself. So there are here and there some different kinds of architectural forms also. However, temples are the major attraction of South Indian architecture. In Chola's period, there are temples, and Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur and Airavateshwara temple at Tanjavur are the major attractions or major examples of Chola's architecture. Then coming to Pallavas architecture, it also has temples and rock cut monuments. Examples Mahabalipuram. Mahabalipuram is example of both temple and rock cut architecture also. So that's about Pallavas period. Coming to Chalukya's architecture. Chalukyas has temples as well as caves. The examples of temples in Chalukya architecture is Sangameshwara temple, and caves example is Badami caves. These caves are very important in Buddhism and Jainism because Badami caves are at Karnataka and they are related to Buddhism and Jainism. This gives us insight that Buddhism has prevailed in Karnataka also. It has spread to Karnataka also, that is South India also. So these become important architectural forms in Buddhism and Jainism also. Then coming to Pandya's architecture. Pandya's architecture also has temples as its major attraction. The major example and the major temple architecture that is of Pandya's skill is Madura Meenakshi temple in Tamil Nadu. This is the famous temple of Pandya's architecture. And in the period of Rajputs, they had forts. I have said you that Rajputs are the dynasty which have just come after the Harshavardhana's period in the north. These cannot be considered as ancient history, but the period from Rajputana's period is called as pre-medieval history till Mughals have arrived. So in Rajput's architecture, forts are the major attractions, and the forts of Rajasthan. There are n number of forts. If you just Google, you can go through many forts names and pictures. So the forts are the major architectural forms that Rajputs have constructed. So this is all about our ancient Indian architectural forms. Now, the one more important thing that you have to know is that why this architecture and art prevailed or emerged only after the time of Magadhan Empire, that is in Mauryan period. From the starting of Mauryan period, the art and culture has emerged and took its major importance in the society. Why was this happened? So the answer for this is, you have to understand, till the Magadhan Empire, the society was struggling to establish a polity, that means to establish kingdom. So they were busy with their economy building and their kingdoms building, that is polity. That is why there is no focus on art and architecture. When it comes to Mauryan period, they have settled kingdoms and settled economy. There was so much of inflow of money and it became a money economy with the peaks of urbanization, and this gave rise to the cultural heritage of that period. So the cultural heritage has got momentum from Mauryan period and it took its spread till the end of the pre-medieval period. Even in pre-medieval period, there was Mughal empires and Mughal architectural forms that had took their importance in that period of time. So this is one important thing. You should have got this doubt why there were no architectural forms in the Magadhan period, but there were architectural forms from Mauryan Empire. So this is one point I wanted to tell you. And one more thing is about the styles of architectural forms, that is styles of temples. You might have learnt about these in books, culture books, or you can get to know when you listen to the playlist that is going on in Vaishya IAS, that is NCERTs of art and culture. So it says like this. So the architectural style of temples is of different kinds. Nagara style of architecture, Vesara style of architecture, and Dravidian style of architecture. Now I am not going to discuss in detail about this because you will be getting to know when you are listening to the playlist of art and culture that I have said you previously, that is going on in our channel. So to give you a little bit insight and some facts, I wanted to tell you that Nagara style of architecture emerged during the Gupta and post-Gupta period and reached its elegance in Rajput period. So this Nagara style is prevalent in Gupta period and Rajputanas period, post-Guptas and Rajputana period. So please remember this point of fact. And Dravidian style of architecture is most prevalent in South India. You might have known that South Indian languages, Telugu, Tamil, are called as Dravidian languages. And this culture is called Dravidian culture, and the architecture is also called as Dravidian style of architecture. So, mostly the temples that are in South India are of Dravidian style of architecture. And in North, it is Nagara style. You can remember like this: Guptas and post-Guptas and Rajputs have ruled the North Indian part of our Indian subcontinent. So, Nagara style was prevalent in Gupta period, that means it is for North. N for North and Nagara style, that is Guptas and post-Guptas. And it comes to Dravidian, please remember it as South Indian style of architecture. So, that's it from my end for this series. Hope you liked the series and you have learnt many things. Thank you for listening till now, and please WhatsApp to the Vaish IAS WhatsApp number for the details regarding the test series, and also please follow all other playlists that are available in our Vaish playlist that will be of great use for your prelims point of view. There are n number of playlists going on. Please go and listen to them also. Thank you so much for listening till now, and the number that you have to WhatsApp for test series is 7200 681675. Thank you so much.